All right, so today we're diving into the Holy Roman Empire.
Ooh.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
This thing lasted for over 800 years.
Wow.
That's longer than the United States has ever been around.
Yeah.
We're digging into the Holy Roman Empire Wikipedia page.
Okay.
And just so you know, this Wikipedia page is already translated into over 100 languages.
Wow, that's impressive.
Talk about an empire with a lasting impact, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So are you ready to uncover how this sprawling and often really confusing empire came to be, what made it tick, and then how it eventually just crumbled?
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's a journey through nearly a millennium of European history.
Yeah.
And you know what's really interesting?
What?
Is that the Holy Roman Empire, it wasn't a neat unified state like we often picture empires.
Okay.
It was more of this complex web of territories, each with its own rulers and laws, and they were all just loosely bound together under an emperor.
Okay. I'm already intrigued.
Yeah.
800 years of history.
Right. Where do we even begin to unpack this?
Well, we have to start with Charlemagne.
Okay.
Crowned emperor on Christmas Day, 800 AD.
Wow.
What a way to make a statement.
Charlemagne, now that's a name that echoes through history.
Yeah.
He forged this really powerful alliance between the Frankish kingdom and the papacy.
That's right.
Creating this massive force in Europe.
Exactly.
But wait a minute, wasn't there already a Roman Empire in the East?
You're exactly right. The Byzantine Empire, with its capital in Constantinople, it was still going strong.
Okay.
And as you can imagine, things were getting a little tense between the East and West.
I can imagine.
The Pope in Rome saw Charlemagne as a much stronger ally.
Oh, so it's all about alliances and power plays.
Definitely talk about a recipe for drama.
So we've got this existing divide in the Christian world, and then Charlemagne becoming emperor in the West just throws fuel on the fire.
Yeah, it was a pivotal moment, that's for sure.
Yeah. It deepened the split, and it really set the stage for centuries of religious and political tension between the East and West.
Oh, so they're not going to get along for a very long time.
Not really, no.
Okay, so Charlemagne kicks things off in 800 AD.
Right.
But does the Holy Roman Empire just sail smoothly from there?
Not quite.
Okay.
There are some bumps in the road.
Okay.
Periods where the imperial title fades only to be revived later.
Uh-huh.
Fast forward about 150 years to 962 AD.
Okay.
And we meet Otto.
Okay.
A German king who decides to bring back the imperial title, ushering in what we now call the Holy Roman Empire.
Hold on, it starts in Germany.
Yeah.
But then it gets tangled up with Italian politics and the papacy's right in the middle of it all.
Right in the thick of it.
This is already more complicated than I thought.
Oh, yeah, and that's just the beginning.
Really?
This connection to the old Roman Empire, the idea of translatio and imperii, it's key to understanding their whole claim to legitimacy.
Translatio imperii. That sounds pretty highfalutin.
It is a fancy term.
Break that down for me.
Basically, it's the idea that the emperors saw themselves as inheriting the power and authority of ancient Rome.
Okay.
They were carrying on that legacy.
Even though Rome had fallen.
Even though the original Roman Empire had fallen centuries earlier.
So they're tapping into the prestige of ancient Rome to give themselves a power boost.
Absolutely.
Smart move.
Politically speaking, very smart.
Yeah.
And that idea of being the heirs to Rome, it shaped the empire's self-image for centuries.
Okay.
But it's important to remember that the Ottonian dynasty wasn't just about power grabs and political maneuvering.
Okay.
This period also gave rise to the Ottonian Renaissance, a time of significant cultural flourishing.
Oh, okay.
We see advancements in art, architecture, and literature.
So it wasn't all doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
There was some real cultural growth happening.
Yeah, a lot of exciting developments.
I have a feeling, though, that those power struggles aren't going away anytime soon.
You're right to be suspicious. Things are about to get even more interesting.
Oh, no.
When we delve into the investiture controversy.
Okay.
A power struggle for the ages.
Ooh.
Emperors versus popes.
Now that's what I call a deep dive.
Right.
Tell me everything.
Well, to understand the investiture controversy, you have to realize that in the 11th century, the appointment of bishops was a huge deal.
Oh.
It wasn't just about religion.
Oh.
It was about political power and influence.
Okay.
And both the emperor and the pope wanted to control who got those powerful positions.
So it's not just a theological debate.
Yeah.
It's like a full-blown...
That's a power struggle.
Power struggle. Okay, who ends up on top?
It wasn't a clear victory for either side.
Oh.
It was a long, drawn-out conflict.
Yeah.
With many twists and turns.
Okay.
But one of the most dramatic moments involved Emperor Henry V being excommunicated by Pope Gregory VII.
What?
Imagine the audacity of the Pope excommunicating the Emperor.
Wow. I bet that sent shockwaves through Europe.
Oh, absolutely.
Did Henry V just accept...
Not a chance.
Okay.
He desperately needed to get back into the church's good graces.
Mm-hmm.
So picture this.
Okay.
It's January 1077, freezing cold.
Okay.
And Henry V travels to Canossa in Italy, where the Pope is staying.
Okay.
He stands barefoot in the snow for 3 days, wearing a simple hair shirt, begging for forgiveness.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a humbling experience.
The walk to Canossa, that's a story they should teach in every history class.
I know, right?
It really highlights, like, the immense power that the Pope wielded.
For sure.
This wasn't just some figurehead. This was a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely.
And what about those local rulers, the princes?
Oh, yeah.
They must have been...
They were always scheming to grab more power for themselves.
So they added another layer of complexity?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
This whole power struggle?
They were a constant thorn in the emperor's side.
Okay.
He often had to make concessions to them just to keep his shaky hold on power. This three-way tug-of-war between the emperor, the pope, and the princes, it was a defining feature of the Holy Roman Empire.
Okay.
The balance of power was constantly shifting, making it a very dynamic and unpredictable entity.
Okay, so we've got this complex web of power dynamics playing out.
Yeah.
Where does the story go from here?
Well, in the 12th century, a new dynasty rises to prominence, the Hohenzollerns.
Okay.
And one emperor in particular stands out.
Okay.
Frederick Barbarossa.
Frederick Barbarossa, wasn't he known for his fiery red beard and his even fierier ambition?
That's the one.
I remember reading something about him wanting to bring Italy back under imperial control.
You got it.
Okay.
He was a charismatic leader who truly believed he was a worthy successor to the Roman emperors.
Mm.
But his attempts to reassert imperial authority in Italy, they weren't exactly a walk in the park.
Okay.
Those independent Italian cities,
Yeah.
they had a mind of their own.
I bet.
And they weren't about to give up their autonomy without a fight.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me one bit. Those Italian cities were powerhouses in their own right.
Absolutely.
And hold on, didn't he also clash with the Pope?
Of course, some things never change.
So much for, like, harmonious relations.
Right.
It sounds like Frederick Barbarossa's vision of a mighty unified empire didn't quite materialize.
Not entirely.
Okay.
While his Italian campaigns were ultimately unsuccessful, he did manage to consolidate his power in Germany.
Okay.
His reign is considered a high point for the Hohenstaufen dynasty.
Uh-huh.
And let's not forget about the Ostsiedlung.
Yeah.
The eastward expansion of German settlers during this period.
Oh, yeah.
That reshaped the map of Europe in a major way.
Oh, the Aussiedlung. So it wasn't just about internal power struggles. They were expanding their reach as well.
Exactly. And that eastward expansion had a profound impact on the empire's internal dynamics.
Okay.
It led to conflicts with Slavic rulers,
Uh-huh.
and it created new power centers within the empire, further complicating that delicate balance of power we were talking about.
So the empire's growing.
Yeah.
But it's also facing challenges from within and without. What happens after Frederick Barbarossa?
That's where things take a really interesting turn.
Okay.
In the 13th century, the empire enters a period called the Interregnum,
Okay.
where there was no universally recognized ruler for decades.
No emperor for decades. That sounds like a recipe for chaos.
Yeah, it was a mess.
Did the empire just crumble?
It managed to survive,
Okay.
but the Interregnum was a major blow to imperial authority.
Mm-hmm.
The princes, always eager for more power,
Of course.
they took full advantage of the situation, making the empire even more fragmented.
Okay.
The emperors, who eventually came to power after this chaotic period,
Yeah.
they were weaker, relying more on their family lands than the imperial title.
So the princes are gaining even more power, and the emperor is losing control.
Yeah, that's the trend.
This doesn't sound like a good sign for the future of the empire.
It wasn't.
Oh.
And just when you think things couldn't get any more complicated, along comes the Reformation in the 16th century. Martin Luther's challenge to the Catholic Church throws the empire into complete religious turmoil.
Wait, so now it's not just political power struggles,
Yeah.
but religious divisions on top of everything else.
Now you've got Catholic princes versus Protestant princes,
Oh.
adding a whole new layer of conflict to an already volatile situation.
Yeah.
The empire's practically splitting at the seams.
Wow, what a mess.
I know, right?
How does the empire even function with all these internal divisions?
It barely does.
Okay.
And to make matters worse, foreign powers like France saw an opportunity to meddle in these internal conflicts, further weakening the empire.
Oh.
There's a downward spiral from there.
So if we're talking about decline,
Yeah.
when does the Holy Roman Empire actually meet its end? What delivers the final blow?
Well, there are a few key events that kind of mark its decline.
Okay.
One is the 30 Years' War in the 17th century.
Okay.
It was just this brutal conflict that devastated much of Europe.
Yeah.
And the Holy Roman Empire never truly recovered.
The 30 Years' War, wasn't that a religious war with all sorts of political intrigue mixed in?
Yeah.
I remember reading about it, and it sounded absolutely horrific.
It really was.
Yeah.
It was a turning point for the worse.
Okay.
It wasn't just about religion, though.
Okay.
It also involved power struggles between different ruling families and interference from foreign powers.
Right. Yeah.
The empire emerged from the war deeply scarred, weakened, and more divided than ever.
Yeah.
Voltaire even famously quipped that it wasn't Holy Roman or an empire.
Voltaire definitely had a way with words.
He did.
But was he right? I mean,
Right.
why exactly did he make that statement?
Well, think about it.
Oh.
The empire had become incredibly fragmented,
Okay.
with princes holding a significant amount of power.
Okay.
The emperor's authority was waning,
Yeah.
and there was no real sense of unity.
Uh-huh.
It was a far cry from the powerful, centralized empires of antiquity, like, the Roman Empire,
Right. Okay.
unholy, the religious wars.
Yeah.
And the constant meddling of the papacy in secular affairs,
Right.
it certainly tarnished the image of a divinely ordained empire.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So it's fragmented, it's politically weak, and it's lost some of its religious legitimacy.
Right.
What finally delivers the knockout blow?
That would be Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay.
In the early 19th century, he was sweeping across Europe, redrawing the map and dismantling old structures of power.
Yeah.
And the Holy Roman Empire, already teetering on the brink, was simply no match for him.
Napoleon, talk about an ambitious guy.
Right.
Did he actually conquer the entire Holy Roman Empire?
He didn't need to resort to brute force.
Oh, okay.
Instead, he played a clever political game.
Okay.
He created the Confederation of the Rhine, a new alliance of German states that were loyal to him, not to the emperor.
Oh, so he's pulling them away.
Exactly.
Okay.
It was a brilliant strategic move that essentially rendered the Holy Roman Empire obsolete.
So after 800 years of ups and downs, power struggles, and cultural shifts, the Holy Roman Empire just fades into the background, outmaneuvered by Napoleon's political chess game.
Pretty much.
Okay.
The Holy Roman Empire formally dissolved in 1806, marking the end of an era.
Okay, so we've traced the rise and fall of this not-so-Roman empire.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
What stands out to you most from all this history? What really grabs your attention?
What I find particularly fascinating is how this not-so-Roman empire continued to shape Europe even after it was gone.
Oh, interesting.
Think about those countless small German states that were constantly vying for power within the empire.
Yeah.
They became the building blocks for the modern German nation.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that intense rivalry between Austria and Prussia,
Yeah.
its roots go all the way back to the Holy Roman Empire.
So even though the Holy Roman Empire was officially dissolved in 1806, its ghost lingered on shaping the political landscape of Europe for centuries to come.
Precisely. It's a great example of how history is never truly over. The past always leaves its fingerprints on the present.
That's true.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, we can even see how the Holy Roman Empire's fragmentation actually contributed to the rise of capitalism in Europe.
Oh, really?
Without a strong central authority to stifle innovation, cities like Augsburg and Nuremberg were able to flourish as centers of trade and finance.
You're right. We talked about the Fuggers, that powerful merchant family.
Exactly.
They would never have been able to amass such wealth and influence if they were constantly being micromanaged by a powerful emperor.
Exactly. The very things that weakened the empire as a political entity actually created fertile ground for economic growth and innovation.
Yeah.
That's a fascinating paradox, wouldn't you say?
It really makes you think about how history is rarely straightforward.
It's messy.
There are always these unintended consequences, these ripple effects that we can't fully anticipate.
For sure.
It's amazing how much we can learn from exploring these complex historical developments.
Absolutely. And that's what makes studying history so rewarding.
Yeah.
There's always more to discover, more connections to make.
Yeah.
We just have to be willing to dig a little deeper and ask the right questions.
So what does this all mean for us today?
That's the big question.
Why should we care about an empire that ceased to exist over 200 years ago?
Right.
What can we learn from the story of the Holy Roman Empire that might be relevant to our lives today?
That's a great question. I think the story of the Holy Roman Empire reminds us that political structures are in constant flux.
Yeah.
Empires rise and fall, borders shift, and the balance of power is always in motion.
Right.
But the legacies of these empires, their ideas, their institutions, even their conflicts, they continue to shape our world in really profound ways.
It's like those crumbling Roman ruins you find all over Europe.
Right.
They're not just remnants of the past, right?
Exactly.
They're tangible reminders of this history that still influences our present, shaping the way we think about power and culture and even our own identities.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And just as archaeologists carefully excavate those ruins to piece together a richer understanding of the past,
Right.
we can delve into the history of the Holy Roman Empire to uncover hidden connections and gain a deeper appreciation for the complexities of European history.
And that's what makes a deep dive so rewarding.
Exactly.
It's not just about memorizing names and dates. It's about exploring the why behind the events.
Yeah.
Understanding the motivations of the players and recognizing how the past continues to shape the world we live in today.
You got it. And as we wrap up our deep dive into the Holy Roman Empire, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Okay.
We've explored its rise and fall, its triumphs and its failures. But what about its legacy beyond the political realm?
Okay.
How did this sprawling, often chaotic entity influence the development of art, music, literature, and philosophy in Europe?
That's a good question.
Those are questions worth exploring further, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that history is so much more than just battles and treaties.
Right.
It's a tapestry woven from countless threads, political, economic, social, cultural, and each thread adds richness and depth to the overall story.
For sure.
And on that note, I want to thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the Holy Roman Empire.
Yeah, it's been fun.
We hope you've gained some new insights and perhaps even a few aha moments along the way.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.